Hey, what's up? If you're watching this, then it means whatever SEO manipulation I came up with worked, and I'm assuming you're a fan of my original channel, and you're wondering what the heck happened and what's going to come next. Um, since this is going to be like a long, rambling video that's I'm really going to try to touch on a lot of different things. I'm just going to try to get all of the key information out there right now, so if all you really care about is the basic future of the channel type details. So the account is gone. It's not going to be able to come back. I'm like 99.999% sure that I'll never be able to get it reinstated. I was hit with a whole bunch of copyright takedowns for Dr. Stone and We Can't Study, and they're completely legitimate. Like, there's no denying that I was showing pirated materials on screen. And that the scanlation of these series was not legitimate, and that by showing it, I was also committing piracy and all of that. So, really, no complaints I can make in regards to that. The channel is just legitimately gone forever. That sucks. I'm going to take a break. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and I've never had like a real substantial break from it. So I think this is a good opportunity to. You probably won't expect to see any videos. My plan is this. Like I'm right now working on some kind of lifestyle changes that would like free up more time for me. And if that goes well, if I find that I have a lot more free time than I used to, then I'll probably return as soon as those changes happen. But a lot of that is like outside of my control. The other thing I'm considering is just kind of setting a time limit, not doing anything until that time, and then at that time kind of reevaluating, thinking about what I want to do going forward, seeing how much I missed it, see how much I really wanted to do it during that time, whatever. So for that, I'm thinking like the rest of the year, like I'll just take the rest of the year off, and then starting in early 2019, I'll start making videos again, something like that. So yeah, that's kind of the basic situation. Please subscribe to this channel regardless. Like, this is the channel that I'm going to use from now on. It's also just called keatsta. I hope that doesn't get me in trouble for like ban evading or whatever. But I might post some like special occasion type videos between now and the kind of expected proper return time. There's a few things that I know that I have coming up that I really do want to make videos about. But in terms of just kind of normal manga reading, yeah, I wouldn't expect anything for a while. So, all right, now I'll talk a little more in depth, I guess, about the situation and how I'm feeling about it and stuff. So I found out on Thursday night. The timing was actually really, really awful. So last weekend I was off on a bachelor party thing for a good friend of mine. There was like 9 of us that we went camping, and we went to Montreal, and we did all sorts of stuff. It was like a 3-day weekend trip, so the Friday beforehand I went down to stay in Toronto with a friend of mine so that I could meet up with the bachelor party. And it was like that Thursday night, after hanging out with my friend and playing some Melee and having just a really good time, I just kind of like casually checked my phone before going to bed. It was around 1 a.m. And I saw these emails, and I was like, geez, I screwed up again. Because, this isn't the first time I've made this mistake and I've gotten copyright takedowns. But it dawned on me slowly as I, like, scrolled through them that, like, it wasn't as in normal situations where it all adds up to 1 strike. But because of either just the number of videos they hit or the fact that they issued, like, multiple claims or something, it was broken up such that I got all 3 strikes all at once, and my channel was just like instantly nuked, just in a moment like that, And I was really, really upset. It sucked. A lot has been lost. The videos are really pretty much all still there. Like on my hard drives and stuff. I haven't deleted any of the videos I've made, but none of them are labeled or sorted in any way except for the automatic file names having the date inside of them. So they're not really doing me much good. I don't really want to go through and label all of them. That sounds like a huge pain to re-upload them. Maybe at some point. I'm definitely not in the mood right now. Something that I'm much more conducive of that feels much more likely is making like a big torrent of all of them and releasing that somehow, but that too would take quite a bit of work to set up. So maybe at some point, but right now I'm really just not in the mood to do something like that. More demoralizing and painful is that I lost all of the streams that I had done. That footage only existed on YouTube and is now just gone forever. Sucks. I have no video proof anymore that I have beaten getting over it. I might as well have just not gotten it over it to begin with. And lots of other little fun streams we've gone are now lost to time. Oh well. All of the comments and stuff have been lost. That one really, really sucks. There was a lot of very nice comments that I would often think of or return to. That's all gone. So yeah, the loss of it hit me pretty heavily, and I wasn't really sure what to do. I just kind of talked to some friends about it. They were very nice. They were supportive. It felt like it fell into like a weird category of importance where, you know, it was a big meaningful thing to me. It was a big chunk of my life, probably the hobby that I was most devoted to. And to have it gone so instantly, it was such a profoundly painful experience that I felt it was reasonable to kind of reach out to people and to hope that people would support me and kind of pity me or whatever. But at the same time, like, you know, it's nothing compared to like the death of a family member or something like suddenly being fired from one's job and losing both something that kind of occupied a lot of your time and something that was the primary source of your income. So I don't. It was kind of weird, like, and where I kind of started feeling anxious about this is knowing that, you know, later that very day, because at this point it was like 1 or like 2 or 3 a.m. I would be going to meet with a whole bunch of my friends and then spend an entire 3-day weekend in like constant social contact with them and stuff. I was just like, man, I'm like really not in the mood. Like, either I can bring this up and be like, yeah, so this is why I'm acting weird, and people would like pity me, like they would get it, they would make a big deal of it, they would be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. But then it's just kind of like a bummer, and I'm ruining the atmosphere, and I'm like detracting focus away from what it's supposed to be about, you know, the groom to be, my friend who's getting married. Uh, or people like might not get it, they might be dismissive, they might be like, oh yeah, whatever, like you're some YouTuber. 1,500 subs, that's like not that much. PewDiePie has 50 million. You know, so I didn't really want to bring it up for that reason either. Like there was a lot of people on the trip that I didn't know as well as others, so I felt awkward around that. But then it was like, if I don't say anything, I'm just going to be like suffering privately and feeling really weird and maybe acting strangely. Nobody's really going to know why. At any rate, it made me really anxious and upset, and I had a terrible night sleeping that night. But then the bachelor party was great. I had a fantastic time all weekend. I really connected with people. I found that I wasn't thinking about the YouTube account like at all. And when I did, it was with kind of this refreshed optimism that eventually I decided it's not worth trying to fight through things. It's not worth trying to get back absolutely everything right away as quickly as possible. It's not worth devoting a whole bunch of time right now to do that when really this is actually a very good opportunity for me to take a break. So what I got thinking about was I've been doing this for like 3.5 years, and during that time, like maybe I'm wrong. I would say correct me if I'm wrong, but nobody has this information anymore. But I feel like since 3.5 years ago, I don't think I've ever taken a break for longer than like 3 weeks, maybe is about the longest I've gone. I would be surprised if it was over a month at least, which is, you know, pretty impressive, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of how much work I put into it and what a success that it turned out to be. Um, but in that time, like a lot of things have changed. Like when I first started the account, it was kind of just a whim, as I've said many times before. And I had a lot more free time then. You know, I was just an undergraduate student. And then for a while I was a NEET, I had even more free time. But now I'm working a full-time job, and my free time feels very precious and limited. And it's not that I have like better things to do or anything. It's not like a hierarchical thing. It's just that I know that I'm constantly stressed out about free time and worrying about using my time effectively and thinking about all sorts of things that I'm not getting done. But the YouTube account is just kind of growing at this unbounded rate where not only do I have less time to spend on it because I just have less free time in general, but constantly there would be more and more and more things that I wanted to make for it. You know, as the channel expanded from just manga stuff to talking about like movies and books and video games, including like let's plays of video games and let's listen to music, and I loved all of that stuff, and I loved the fact that people were responding to it and seemed interested in these new avenues. But it just grew and grew and grew, such that I felt like I could spend every second of my free time on it, and I would still have more things to do, you know, like it was insatiable. So I feel like a break will kind of let that sort of thing kind of get in check with me. Like I'll be able to see now more clearly how I want to use my time and like what will happen if I just free up a lot of time for myself. Will it be kind of what I imagined, or will I find that I still kind of need this sort of creative outlet? So for me, a big thing is always that like I want to write all the time. My loftiest and most passionate creative ambitions are still around writing, and I enjoyed making the YouTube videos because it was a whole lot easier than writing and a lot more immediate. And the ability to just hit record and then have to talk at some length, no matter how much preparation you've done or haven't done, with no editing phase, with no period where my self-doubt would allow me to stop myself. I just felt that there was like an immediate fluency to making videos that allowed me to get to a place of creative satisfaction a whole lot more consistently and easily. And it seems to have been working well. Like, of all the creative things I've done so far, this YouTube channel has been far and away the most popular, which of course is a very encouraging... How the hell is a motorcycle even that loud? Like, I feel like they would have to be deliberately making it loud for it to be that loud and obnoxious. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. So it's like, I don't know, it was almost a little too easy at times. And I feel like maybe if I wasn't making so many videos, I would be able to focus more on writing and get more done in writing. But I don't know, like, I want to actually confirm that. Alternatively, it's like, maybe this actually helps with my writing, because it's a good, like, creative warm-up. And there have been a lot of times where I would make videos for a while, and I just kind of found that my head was in that creative, ambitious, confident state, and then I would be able to turn around and write. But then there was also a lot of days where I just felt like I should make some videos or whatever, and then once I had finished that, it was just time for bed, and there was nothing else to do that night. So, I don't know. I really don't know. It's all just kind of experimentation and stuff. This bachelor party has been one of a long blitz of incredibly emotionally impacting social events in the last month or so. Like, in that time, I also reconnected with some family members and some friends that I hadn't seen in some time, or hadn't had the opportunity to have like real in-depth conversations with. My boss retired, which was this crazy mixture of like sentimentality and connection and kind of feeling like her legacy and stuff, which was all very cool, but then also just like blind panic and franticness around every single aspect of having to like inherit duties from her and redistribute them. And anyways, all I'm saying is that it's been a wild time for me, and that even if it wasn't for my channel getting down, I probably would have wanted to take, you know, some sort of break, albeit a much shorter break, to just kind of recollect myself. It isn't even over yet, because next weekend is the actual wedding, you know, of course, after the bachelor party. So yeah, what was I just this idea that, like, at a certain point, the momentum of the YouTube channel was such that I wasn't really asking myself if I wanted to do this, if this is what I wanted to do most. All I knew is that I was enjoying it and that I had a sense of responsibility to keep going. And I still really do have a sense of responsibility around it. And I want to say I just really feel terrible for people that were like looking forward to me reading specific things, getting caught up on things like Dungeon Meshi. I promised so many times that, you know, we're on track, we'll get caught up with it. Sorry it's taking so long, but we'll get caught up with it. And now I feel like I'm kind of breaking that promise. I feel especially bad for people who like sent me in gifts of series that they wanted to see me read on the channel. I really hope you don't feel like I'm ripping you off. Like I kind of feel like that, and I feel really terrible. Like really know though that my intention is to return to this at some point. Like I love making manga reading videos, but I just want time to kind of reconfirm that. And as I alluded to earlier, like time to just kind of sort out my lifestyle such that I can hopefully have more free time going forward. What I mean by that concretely is that I want to work fewer hours, but doing so requires first that I kind of navigate my office to figure out how that could be doable, and then also that I like rebalance some of my financial commitments and things like that such that I can actually survive on the less pay. It should be doable, but I actually should just kind of take a step back from the things that are occupying all of my free time to kind of more objectively and distantly observe, okay, like how much time do I really want? What trade-off rate between money and time is actually going to be ideal for me? It's difficult to figure out these things when you're deep within major time commitments, you know? And I gotta say, like, this feeling I'm getting from not making videos, this sort of anxiety where I just kind of think of this void where the videos ought to be, and a feeling of like people slipping away from me because I'm not engaging with them, or that I'm like missing out on expressing certain things because I missed the window of when I'm like excited about them and able to articulate that excitement. Like on one hand, I'm happy that I have this kind of creative anxiety because I think it's like very motivating, and it helps me focus and think about things that I can do creatively. But it's another thing, just kind of like the time commitment of the channel itself, that's just been building up and building up as the channel got more and more popular. And I've never really had a moment to like stop and check it, you know? That it's just built up so steadily and slowly that if it ever crossed some sort of line, I wouldn't really be able to notice. It's like that image. I don't think this is actually true. Like, I think this is a myth, but it's a common story, right? That if you put the frog in the boiling water and you just keep turning up the temperature of the water, the frog won't jump out before it's killed because it doesn't recognize that the water is getting hotter. That's a pretty grim metaphor, I guess. But you kind of get what I mean, right? Like I need to kind of take a step back from these feelings and think objectively, well, not objectively, but think consistently and clear-headedly just how much of this feeling do I want to have. And another aspect of this is like, as I kind of diversified the sort of genres and subject matters of the channel, I would spend more and more time kind of distractedly thinking about videos that I wanted to make. And this is something that I've done with writing for literally as long as I can remember, that just in idle times I'm constantly thinking about stories that I want to tell, kind of trying to compose and articulate dialogue in my head and all of this stuff. And the thing though is that, well, first off with writing, there's a bit more of an abstraction. Like I know full and well that when I'm actually doing the writing, that there's a lot of things that I'm glossing over when I'm doing kind of the prep work that I'm going to have to do. And I'm fine with that, and that kind of takes the edge off the imagining process, right? Like I know that I'm not actually doing anything definitive at that step, I'm just kind of like generating ideas. But for the videos, because what ends up happening is I just sit there in front of a camera and talk. Typically, when I'm imagining what it's going to be like to make a video on a certain topic, I start picturing myself saying and doing the exact things that I later end up planning on doing. Like there's no abstraction. Like case in point, all throughout today, I've been off and on kind of mentally articulating what I'm going to say in this video, including this explanation that I'm giving you right now. And it has a little bit more of like a tight, manic feeling that you're basically spending chunks of your time predicting the future. And as the subject matter of my videos got more and more diverse, I would find myself kind of lapsing into this mode, which was almost an entire parallel thought stream, more and more. And then even in situations where it was inappropriate, that I knew that I couldn't possibly make a video out of this, right? Like it's just something inherently, content-wise, not at all what I want to be doing on this channel. I can't even, like an example would be like hanging out with family members or something. But I would find that kind of engine in my brain would already be like revving up without me even telling it to, thinking about how I would kind of react to this or articulate this, things that I would highlight, jokes that I might be able to make, how I would title the video. Like all of this stuff just kind of started percolating on its own, just because I had developed these thought patterns. And again, I don't think this is necessarily bad, but I do think that it's possible for it to go too far at some point. And only by kind of taking a break from it and looking at it with a bit of distance am I going to be able to figure out where that point is. There's some other reasons why I wanted to take a break. I think those are the main ones. But yeah, just in general, I think it's always good to look for these things in your life that are kind of growing without you necessarily authorizing or becoming entirely aware of what each new step of growth entails. So I think it's always good to have some sort of system in place that can check this stuff. I don't know. So during this time, during this break, I am planning on reading manga still. Like, I love making manga videos, but even more than that, I love just reading manga, so I'm not going to give that up. I'm sorry, and I really am sorry, and it's with a lot of kind of shame, I think, at first, that I'm going to be reading these series on my own. Um, I don't know, like, we can think about what a good system might be, but probably when I come back and I start doing manga reading videos again, we can kind of go back and summarize stuff that I read without you, if that seems like a good system. But I really do feel bad. Like, I don't know. I'm still split on this. Like, I feel like I want to commit to taking a break. Like, I think there's a lot of good reasons for it, and I think it would do me a lot of good. But part of me still really wants to not lose these experiences, to not lose the expression of excitement that I'm capable of giving with new manga. And so many manga are in such an exciting place right now that it sucks that I'm not going to be able to share that with you. But I don't know, it's just how it is. And I'm sorry, but it's just how it is. And I gotta say too, like, not that I want to make too big a deal out of it, but having the big numbers was really just substantially encouraging in a straightforward, objective, undeniable way that so few other things were, right? Like it was so easy to work on whatever video project because I knew I had this small community that was going to engage with it, that was going to watch it and comment on it and stuff. And that's so different than pretty much any of my other creative ambitions, where I had maybe a vague sense of an audience that I could try to attract, maybe, if I stayed confident with the project the entire way through. And even then, typically there wasn't really much of a response. Whereas the videos, you know, you just post them and publish them, and you don't have to have any period of doubt or anxiety because the YouTube search algorithm is doing all the work for you. So I think, I don't know, having lost that and knowing that it'll take a long, long time to get back to where I was before, it's a little demotivating. So like beyond just kind of the benefits of taking a break, I'd be lying if I said I'm as eager to make videos as I always am. Like part of me is just so dreading just going back to that feeling of dumping things in the void and hoping that maybe somehow somebody is gonna end up watching it. Um, I don't know. That's maybe a big part of it too. Like it really sucks all the stuff we lost, all the comments and streams, but I think probably because I was so close to 1500 and I had had such plans for what I was going to do to celebrate 1500, and now we've been reset all the way down to 0, having made it to like 1492, I think. Like that sucks. Like that really does hurt. Even though it's just one number, and the fact that people leave nice comments and send me nice things and seem that like they really care about what I'm saying, engage, that matters more. But the number still matters. That felt so cool, having a relatively big number like that. Even though it wasn't really that big, it felt so exciting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. I think I mentioned before, but there are like a few special occasions that I know are coming up where I'm definitely going to make a video regardless, and I'll put it on this channel. So, you know, please subscribe. And if you have any other questions or suggestions, like please leave them in the comments. I'll be checking the comments for this channel too. I don't know. Another question, and this is something I guess I can pose to you, is like, I really don't want this to happen again. I'm just done with all this stuff. So I think probably when I do come back, it'll be like no showing the manga pages, or maybe I'll try to come up with like a system to blur it out. So that's just like another thing to consider is how do we make this new channel like completely bulletproof? Oh, I was so naive. It had been so long since I got any takedowns, and they had always just been like one strike at a time. So I felt pretty confident. I felt like, you know, that I'll have plenty of time to stop whatever behavior is getting me in trouble before I'm in too much trouble. But no, it just like just over, over. I don't know. And and I feel like I never felt like I had the right to do what I was doing. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want this to be some thing, right? Like, I don't want to be like, YouTube's policies are crushing small content creators, and it's not an issue of that. I never had the right to do what I was doing. I was just getting away with it. But I felt morally good about getting away with it, because even though I was using piracy and sort of condoning piracy, I really do feel like I pushed more books sold than I allowed people to skip out on buying books that they otherwise would. Because I always showed the website you could go to just read it. Like, it's very easy to find those sites that have scanlations. Much more easier to do that than to find my YouTube channel. So I felt like the people who were like watching my YouTube channel are already totally aware that they can just go read pirated copies of stuff. And that they came to my channel because they wanted to engage even deeper with the manga, because they really truly love manga, and I really encouraged people, like, if you love the manga, like, buy it. Like, if you love the manga, do something, whatever you can, to allow the mangaka to keep on creating that stuff, right? So I don't know. I think between introducing people to new series and helping people like series even more, and just constantly espousing this message of like support the arts, spend as much money as you can on the arts, that I have overcome the damage that my contribution to piracy does. Like, maybe I would like to think that at least, but that doesn't give me a right to do it. You know, that's not how it works. So I don't know. I'm not really upset. Well, I'm a little frustrated, I guess, because it just kind of sucks. But I don't feel like there's an injustice here or anything. So don't worry about stuff like that. It was bound to happen. I should have seen this coming. This sucks. Oh, this sucks. All right. Well, I'll see you in a long time. Um, I guess that's all I can say. You guys have been great. I really, really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the feeling of popularity. That sounds awful, but that's, I guess, what it boils down to, that the things I was saying and doing, people were engaging with and people were excited about, and that's a great feeling. Like I really hope that I'm in that position again, whether it be through YouTube videos or some other entirely different medium or something. Um, yeah, yeah. Like don't worry. I'm not sad. I'm really not that sad. It's been a very emotional month for me, as I said. But the underlying message that I've gotten out of all of these interactions is like I do have the capability to bring myself into the lifestyle I want to have. Like I am capable of making a happy life for myself. I really believe that more from this last month than ever before. And this is something that's always really made me happy and something that I've always been proud of. So I don't know. I don't think that this is actually that bad a setback. Like it's just I don't know, it's just how it is. Now I'm gonna do other stuff for a while. So yeah, yeah. See you later.